Oh, the sweet agony of sports, isn't it? 1 minute you're celebrating a championship. The next you're wondering if your superstar has forgotten how to shoot. What a ride this NBA season's been, folks. And let me tell you, the drama isn't just on the court anymore. It's spilling over loud and clear, and it's hitting one of the league's most talked about teams right where it hurts. Did you see it? Did you hear it? Dwayne Wade, a man who bleeds Miami Heat red and white, a champion, a leader, a legend, didn't just offer criticism. He launched a full-blown missile at Jimmy Butler. And unlike most of the lukewarm takes that wash over our sports debates like lukewarm bathwater, this one was a surgical strike. Deep, revealing, and frankly, brutally uncomfortable. When an icon like Wade, known for his relentless mentality, publicly exposes a former teammate in such a way, something is undeniably wrong. And let me tell you, behind the scenes in the NBA, no one is treating this as just another opinion. The target of this scathing critique, none other than Jimmy Butler. And the backdrop, the Golden State Warriors, a franchise historically synonymous with excellence. But this year ended on a melancholic note for the Warriors. Emotionally swept away by a fierce Minnesota Timberwolves squad in a mere 5 games. A series with flashes of talent, yes, but where was the leadership? What was the unwavering resolve? What remained? Shrapnel. On one side, a confused team. On the other, a star whose reputation as a playoff performer, a Jimmy Buckets who rises to the occasion, is quietly, almost imperceptibly, beginning to unravel. To fully grasp the impact of Wade's recent comments, we need to rewind a bit. Jimmy Butler had already faced criticism in Miami. More than that, he was let go, and according to Wade, it was never about injuries. It was about behavior, about attitude, and now, seeing the same patterns repeat themselves in a Warriors jersey, Wade decided it was time to speak, and he didn't hold back. On his show Time Out with Dwayne Wade, aired just this past Monday, the former point guard made it crystal clear: Butler disappointed again. I didn't like the way he approached playing at a high level. I know he likes to get his teammates involved and wants to see them shine, but there comes a point where you're making $60 million. The offense isn't working, you have to take over. If you follow this channel, you know this is where things get serious. Hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you agree with Wade? Did Jimmy Butler fail as a leader in Golden State? Jimmy had a decent playoff campaign statistically. 19.2 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists. But as Wade eloquently made clear, the problem isn't the averages. It's in the moments when he disappears. And the criticism isn't isolated. Wade exposed a pattern. According to him, the same hesitation had already been seen against the Denver Nuggets in the 2023 finals. And before that, in the 2020 bubble, Butler was the opposite. Aggressive, relentless, a pit bull in Wade's words. But now in San Francisco, he didn't even look at the basket. That change in attitude is what stings the most. Wade insists, I don't want to see that. Jimmy Butler is too good to go scoreless in a game. He adds, when it's time for you to dominate, it's time to dominate. And even if you fail, if it's just a matter of missing shots, I don't care. Shoot. The silence in the Warriors' locker room after the series against the Timberwolves was deafening. Stephen Curry, still recovering from injury, didn't make it back for Game 6. And Butler? It was his time to step up, to make the investment count, to prove he was still that guy. But that's not what the world saw. And so, Wade did what no one in Golden State had the courage to do publicly. He took responsibility and called it out like someone who's been in the trenches. It's bad offense if you don't shoot when your team needs you. He does a good job finding shots for his teammates, but there are moments where they've done all they can and you're the guy. This statement is key to understanding all the frustration surrounding Butler. Wade, who was once a mentor and leader in Miami, saw the same script play out on 2 different teams. And it wasn't just about basketball. It was about identity, about the moment when a player must transform from facilitator to killer, from passer to finisher. And according to Wade, Butler fails at that crucial moment. What's most shocking is that this criticism came from someone who knows him, someone who has seen him shine. who knows what he's capable of, and precisely because of that, the Wade is greater. Wade saw Jimmy at his peak, and now sees someone who seems to be hiding his competitive fire. Warriors fans expected Jimmy to be the leader, the gritty veteran who would give the team the push it needed in Curry's absence. But if what showed up on the court was a passive player, Wade's words merely gave voice to what many were thinking but didn't say. With 2 years left on his contract, what comes next? We don't know. But one thing is certain, Wade's criticism wasn't random. It had a target, a purpose, and a message. It was a mirror, and in the reflection, Butler doesn't look comfortable at all. So tell me, fan, do you agree with Wade? Did Butler fail in the playoffs? Or is he being held to a standard no one can maintain forever? Drop a comment below. I want to know what you saw in that series. But while the Warriors deal with the open wounds of yet another early playoff exit, on the other side of the conference, the calm in Boston is only apparent. Because if you look closely, the collapse has already begun. And unlike the public drama between Wade and Butler, the Celtic story is being written quietly, spreadsheet by spreadsheet, dollar by dollar. The phrase echoing to the halls of TD Garden is as clear as broken glass. Someone has to go. With Jason Tatum sidelined indefinitely after rupturing his Achilles tendon and the luxury tax of the second apron looming like a guillotine, the Boston Celtics face a cruel dilemma. How do you keep a championship roster without sinking financially and without completely dismantling the team? More than that, how do you restructure now without losing the identity built over the last 5 years? The answer may lie in 3 names: Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derrick White. Holiday, with a guaranteed salary of $32.4 million for 2025-26 season, is the most experienced, a champion with the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021, a key piece in Boston's 2024 title run. But now at 34 years old, the inevitable question arises: how much longer can he maintain the same impact? For Brad Stevens, this weighs heavily. Every cent must be tied to performance and longevity. And once you're past 30, the margin for error shrinks dramatically. Porzingis is the other giant in the room. Literally, standing 7 feet 3 inches, 2.21 meters. His presence in the paint was crucial to Boston's success. Despite still playing at a high level last season, his greatest strength, his technical skill, is at constant war with his biggest vulnerability: his body. Injuries, wear and tear, uncertainty, and a $30.7 million contract expiring soon. For many teams, this isn't a problem. It's an opportunity, a piece that can reinforce the roster now and come off the books by year's end. That's why, in the words of insider Mark Stein, the Latvian might be the most tradable veteran on the roster. But the name really stirring the waters behind the scenes, the name that provokes sighs of fear and excitement, is Derrick White. Yes, the very same Derrick White who became a fan favorite. The same one who's shown as one of the most underrated guards in the NBA. The same one who defends like a pit bull, shoots threes with consistency, reads a game like few others, and is only 30 years old. The contract? A dream. 2 seasons left with a player option and only $28.1 million guaranteed for 2025. By NBA elite standards, that's a bargain. And it's exactly that caught the eye of an old acquaintance: the hungry, restless, and unpredictable Golden State Warriors franchise. During Zach Lowe's podcast, journalist Logan Murdoch, former Warriors reporter and current analyst for The Ringer, dropped the bombshell. Another guy the Warriors are watching is Derrick White. He can play defense, calm things down, especially with such a young group. And when he says that, it's not just about skill, it's about mindset. Because White is what the Warriors desperately need for the next phase of the project. Someone who can bridge generations. A guard who knows how to manage ego, minutes, and decisions. Who plays smart alongside Kuminga, Podziemski, and Moody, and who can also share the floor if needed with Stephen Curry. But for Boston, letting White go is more than a technical decision. It's existential. Zach Lowe went straight to the point. It's depressing to imagine Boston trading Derrick White. But that's the kind of dilemma they face right now. How much of a reset do they really want? Who will be here when Tatum comes back? Who is trade value today? Where does Derrick White fit in all this? Brad Stevens is aware of that. He's not just a manager. He's the architect of a team that won the 2024 title. And right now he lives a cruel paradox. To keep the championship window open, he may have to sacrifice one of his most solid pillars. Still, according to insider Mark Stein, the Celtics are more inclined to trade Jrue Holiday than Derrick White. Age, contract, and profile make Jrue an immediate solution to ease the books. And Porzingis, despite his injuries, remains attracted to teams wanting to strengthen their front court with an expiring contract. But the market knows something Boston also knows. If there's one truly valuable piece on his roster, it's White. And the closer the offseason gets, the more the calls will come. Now, imagine what this trade would mean. White in Golden State. A new era begins alongside Kuminga. A new system, a new challenge. And on the other side, Boston trying to keep hope alive without its main perimeter defender, without its emotional barometer. Was this the price of the 2024 title? The NBA is changing. The era of super teams with blown-out salary caps is crumbling. And in Boston, the bill has come due. So now I want to know from you. If you were Brad Stevens, who would you keep? Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, or Kristaps Porzingis? And more importantly, would you accept seeing White in a Warriors jersey? Comment below, because this discussion is going to ignite. What if history repeated itself? But this time on an even more epic scale. What if almost a decade after Kevin Durant's arrival, the Golden State Warriors were about to make another move that would redefine the course of the NBA? What if Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, was really on the verge of forming a duo with Stephen Curry? This isn't just an ordinary rumor. We're talking about something that's already shaking the balance of power in the league even before it happens. It's the kind of move that creates dynasties, ignites hope for one last glorious act in San Francisco, and could change the fate of two franchises forever. Back in 2016, the world stopped. Kevin Durant shocked the basketball planet by announcing his move to the Golden State Warriors. That wasn't just a team change. It was a paradigm shift. The MVP in his prime joined the first team in history to win 73 regular season games. The result? Championships, dominance, an era that left deep marks on the modern NBA. Now, in 2025, there's a new whisper behind the scenes. Giannis, Warriors, Stephen Curry. All of this is on the radar of analysts, insiders, and league executives. And according to Brian Windhorst from ESPN, it's not just speculation. It's a quiet but real plan, a package already put together, a possible move. And if Giannis decides it's time to leave Milwaukee, Golden State is ready to act. But before we dive into this puzzle, if you're the type who never misses a twist, a hot rumor, or an explosive behind-the-scenes story, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you think Curry and Giannis together will be simply unstoppable, because what's coming next is a true roller coaster. Here's the scenario. The Warriors aren't favorites, but they're prepared. They're not in a rush, but they have a plan. And that plan starts with an offer no other Western team can match. Jonathan Kuminga is the first piece. At 22, he's already proven to be more than just a role player. In 2024-25, he grew as an offensive creator, kept his defense at a high level, and showed signs that he could be an all-star soon. Milwaukee would see him as the perfect foundation for a rebuild. But that's just the first piece. The second, Brandon Podziemski, a young point guard with very high basketball IQ, great court vision, strong rebounding for his position, and a playing style that fits the Bucks' culture, intensity, intelligence, and team play. Then comes Moses Moody, a 6 feet 6 inches wing with 3-and-D skills, and potential yet to be fully tapped. And finally, Tracy Jackson Davis, the center who ended the season on a high note, showing aggression at the rim, physical presence, and veteran-level defensive instincts. Add all that to a truckload of draft picks. 2026, 2028 picks, swapped in 2027 and 2029, plus the unprotected 2031 pick. And you have one of the most complete packages possible to try and land an MVP still in his prime. But the most impressive part? This package doesn't require giving up Curry, Draymond, or even Jimmy Butler. And he's indeed part of Golden State's future plans. The core remains intact. The price would be high, but calculated. Behind the scenes, however, the gears are already turning. Giannis' contract is still active, but signs of restlessness are clear. The accumulated injuries, the Bucks' lack of technical stability, early playoff exits, and the ages of Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez put Milwaukee at a crossroads. And for Giannis, who has publicly expressed that a priority is to compete for a championship, time is running out. The most curious detail? Giannis recently appeared at a party hosted by Stephen Curry during All-Star Weekend. He was the only player there not on the Warriors roster. Coincidence? Maybe. But as Logan Murdoch reported, it reignited the rumors, especially since Giannis and Curry share the same agency, Octagon. And according to close sources, the Greek freak is genuinely intrigued by the idea of wearing a Warriors uniform, if that desire goes public. If Giannis clearly states he wants to play in San Francisco, the pressure on Milwaukee will become unbearable, and the Warriors, discreet but ready, will strike. But what if this trade really happens? Curry and Giannis on the same team, the most creative mind in the NBA alongside the most dominant body in the league. Draymond Green organizing the defense, Giannis attacking with brute force, and Curry lighting it up from the perimeter. It's a combination that defies any tactical scheme. Would it be the rebirth of a dynasty, or the consolidation of the last great charge before Steph's retirement? For the Bucks, losing Giannis will be painful, but this package would offer an immediate restart. Kuminga and Podziemski would give the franchise a young duo with extremely high ceilings. Moody and Jackson Davis complete a solid rotation, and the draft picks would allow bold moves in the coming years. Not to mention Milwaukee would avoid long or problematic contracts. But the deadlock persists. Giannis has reportedly indicated New York as a preferred destination. The Knicks have a playoff-ready roster and interesting assets. The Nets, although less competitive, hold Milwaukee's 2025 pick, putting them in a strategic position. The battle will be fierce, but the Warriors are betting on a powerful variable: the player's desire. If Giannis says, "I want Golden State," that changes everything. And if that happens, Joe Lacob could repeat what he did in 2016. Make a decision that shakes the NBA structure for years. It would be the franchise's boldest move since Kevin Durant, and maybe the final great chapter of the Stephen Curry era. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were the Warriors GM, would you be willing to trade Kuminga, Podziemski, Moody, Jackson Davis, and 3 first-round picks for Giannis? Or is that price too high, even for an MVP? Comment below. Your opinion might appear in the next video. And if you want to know how the Knicks or Nets could steal Giannis from the Warriors behind the scenes, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the next bombshell could drop any moment, and you'll want to be here when it happens.